following is a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 1.
It's been a wild run here for the second tournament of the season, but we are nearing its conclusion. Starting off with our first Final Four matchup between number 5 Lane Sanders, the winner of the Token region, taking on number 15 Ridley, who won the Joystick region. For both players, looking to claim the first spot in the final boss finale and get their chance to possibly win Arcade April and get the highest score. We will see who gets it done here. Best of 11, 2 power play on this one, so hopefully should be a good one. We are getting to that point of the bracket where these series get long and every game is going to matter. But before we begin, let's take a look at both players' paths to the Final Four, starting off with Lane. 15-9 record overall for the tournament. Start 64, went off to a good start, defeated Peter Onjak in the opener. 4-2 victory there. Had a forfeit win over Allen. Bit of a weird situation on that one, was unfortunate, but ultimately Lane moves on from that to go into the Super 16, where he had a very close match against Yoshi. Really went down to the wire, but was able to survive in a close one. Won that one 5-4. Then the All-Star 8 won the Master Class in that matchup also against William Brock. 5-3 victory there. Got out to an early lead midway, and then Brock was slowly coming back, but in Game 8, Lane denies the comeback to lock his spot up into the Final Four, where he advances to this matchup tonight. And we'll be facing the other half of this matchup here as the lower seed, the 15 seed Ridley. This is the second season in a row in Tournament 2 where we have a 15 seed in the Final Four. Gon did it last season in this tournament, made it to the finale. We'll see if Ridley can follow that path here. Both of them were rookies, so we'll see if that crossover can make some deja vu here in this first Final Four matchup. But starting it off in the start 64, got a big upset win over Lara 4-1. Looked really good in that game. Lara didn't really have many answers for Ridley in that one. And then Ridley moved on to the Turbo 32, which was not as dominant. It was a very close matchup. Went up against Logan, but ended up getting the win 4-3 in a close one. Super 16 defeated fellow UUL player Tapir 5-3. Another close matchup, but really able to get the slight edge there to move on. And then the All-Star 8, that not really much of a game there. Swept Andy, was able to kind of take advantage of the card advantage they were able to get in that game. Did what they needed to do and got the job done to make it to the Final Four. This is the second season in a row that Ridley has made the Tournament 2 Final Four. Did so down in D2 last season, and now doing so once again here up in D1. We'll see if Ridley can get the win here in this one, though, because last season in that D2 Final Four, they came up empty-handed in that one there, did not get the win there, so looking to get a little bit of redemption indirectly in this matchup to try and make it to their first finale in their MRE career overall. And looking at the bracket, for the left side, if we're counting all of MRE, second Final Four for both Ridley, first Final Four in D1. Lane first Final Four since 2024, so a bit more of familiarity on the left side. But on the right side, we have a little bit more familiarity. Nick in his second straight Final Four is off to an incredible start to the season. Looking for some redemption after coming up short in this round in the last tournament, and then G-Man, who won this tournament last season, has been on a roll, has been storming through the bracket with some vengeance here. We'll see if he can return to the finale and maybe be the first repeat tournament winner of a tournament in the league history. That has never happened before. We'll see if he can get it done. Uh, Whenever that match is going to happen next week. Not no time yet at the moment since we're having a bit of an outage during the weekend. It was originally going to be like Saturday, but that kind of falls in the outage range, so that didn't work. We'll see who gets to win there. That should hopefully be a good match. But doing this matchup tonight to determine the first half of the final boss finale. And we'll see who makes it there. But for the preview, got the rookie v legend. 18-7, 15-9. Went through that before. First appearance in the D1 Final Four for Lane. The Final Four record I don't think is correct on that one, unless I'm missing something. I don't think I'm pretty sure that Lane's only made one Final Four before and he did not win. So I don't think that's correct. I'll quickly double check that though to confirm. And yeah, I'm not sure where we're getting that from. Yeah, because for Lane, one Final Four that was in tournament 4 of last season. So I think the round of 8 record carried over from the last one there. But Lane is ranked 19th. That one's correct. And then for CPU prediction, 6-5, Lane is just predicting a close one here. At this point, it's just gonna be whatever happens on the table happens. So we'll see who gets it done. But with that out of the way, we will go over to the table here. I'm gonna quickly type questions for both of them since neither are in VC, and then we'll see what both of them have to say. So just give me one moment. So those are the questions for both players. For Lane, back in the Final Four once more, looking for your first career finale appearance, looking to get it done here in Arcade April. How your run has been so far, how are you feeling heading tonight? And for Ridley, somewhat familiar territory for you, despite this being your first D1 Final Four, as you made it here at D2 in the same tournament last season, but came up short. Anything you recall from that last match, as well as your run up to this point that you're looking to make, that you're making note of heading into tonight to try and get the desired results. So we'll see what both say while we do that. Again, it's best of 11. This is going to be the turn order 3-3, 2-2, 1. So both will get 3 home starts no matter what. These games here will be where it's if necessary. So a little different than what it usually is, because usually the home start is initially 2 games. For this one, for the best of 11s, it'll be 3. So throws a little bit of a different mix into the formula here. We'll see how it goes for both players as they look to try and get it done. But going down to Lane, I'm gonna read off what he has here. Doing nothing more than playing with house money. We're in the in-season tournament most likely. I'm happy with the run so far. That is true. For both players, in very good spots to make the in-season tournament, which will happen in the middle of tournament 4. However, if either of these players go on to win the tournament, technically they won't be in it because the tournament winners won't be in that in-season challenge. So, um, I think the goal for both here are going to be try to win this tournament here, and then the in-season tournament isn't really going to matter. But for both, I mean, with that in mind, they are still in like decent spots to be in a position to capitalize on that. So we'll see how that goes. But Ridley's typing now. We'll see what Ridley has to say, and then we'll get things started here. But yeah, this is would be the end of the tournament here. We got Scars as a ref here, joining us. I want to thank Scars for taking this game. It's been a big help this tournament, being a big help across the board, and I am not sure what I would do without him and a lot of the other refs who have been very helpful throughout this period. Got Ridley's response here. Excited to be here. Only thing that could have done better this round was a mistake earlier in the tournament on a run and no wasted power plays. Wishing Lane the best of luck. All right. Well, both players giving their thoughts here to kick things off, and I think we're good to go. Scars, feel free to give game one call to Lane here as he will kick off this series here in our first Final Four matchup of Arcade April. We've been also experiencing a bit of a bot lag issue. I did check pregame. I don't think we're having it right now, so hopefully we should be okay for at least the start of this one. But green reverse will be the opener here. We are underway, and Lane gonna start with the OG7, and that is not the start Lane wants there, as he's gonna have to draw on the start. Ridley gonna be able to play, gonna close the door on the reverses. But that's actually just what Lane needed to get things started for him as he switches the red. Crossover into yellow, though. Ridley wanted the yellow here. Blue 7 would be the rainbow, and that would be a very bizarre rainbow to start this game out. Wouldn't be the first time we had a first turn rainbow, but gets denied with the yellow 3. And I think for both players, it's definitely in the back of their mind with the whole bot-like thing. There might be a little bit more of an urgency to try to get an early lead here. So in the event we do get a bit of a pause here, and we are seeing a little bit of it, not necessarily to the lengths that we saw before. Lane actually was involved in one of the games that had a big impact on that lag issue. But I think for both, if in the event it comes in kind of like rain and both have to go on put on wet weather tires, gonna want to try to see if they can be out in that early advantage, because that could definitely make that kind of situation less stressful. And first +4 of the series, and that's going to be Lane denying the wild red from Ridley. Ridley gonna just roll with the blue for now, but Lane with an early move. Well, not necessarily early move because it's 7, but Lane with a big move, I guess, is the better way to say it. Really gonna have to draw, but Lane is out as well, so Lane hoping for something different there and did not get it. So now both drawing here. I think ultimately for Lane there, that +4 looked a little bit more defensive. Ridley was down at 2 there when they played that wild red, so I'd like the call there on that one if you're not feeling confident with the options, especially with it being early. We barely just passed 2 minutes here. Sometimes the safe option is the way to go. Ridley's gonna no, Lane's gonna get the break into green and has a decent lead here at the moment, 3-8 on the cards. So looking to find a break here. If he can have a lineup from this point, he's in a good spot. But Ridley has 8 cards in their hand that could disrupt things a little bit. So Ridley is taking a second to think through their next play. Right. Gonna be a green 7. And Lane actually does not have any more greens, so Lane gonna have to draw. For Ridley, maybe an opening to try and close this gap a little bit. No, both drawing. So neither with an option here. And it's going to be blue and green that has both kind of struck out. Ridley's going to get the top deck there on that, though. I've been seeing, like, the flash up thumbs up. I'm not quite sure who that is. I've been seeing that a few times before. Alright. Maybe it's Ridley. I'm not sure. Anyways, both gonna keep drawing. Maybe we could try to catch it here. If it pops up again. Not gonna pop up this time. But yeah, green 3. Lane drawing again. Does Ridley have to switch? Does have the switch, goes into red. Does that? I think that would free up both here. And it will. But Ridley is out on red also. This is a very bizarre hand from Ridley here, because that's 3 colors they've drawn on. And for Lane, I feel like he's going to be able to get something going here on this red. They spent a lot of that time kind of slowly building their way back up to where they were before. But now, kind of stuck in a bad spot here. Oh, wow, okay. Big run there. 4-card run, has the +2 on top of it, and I think maybe draws like green reverse or red reverse there to get out of that one. It goes into green. The lane switches the yellow. Does that help Ridley, though? We have not seen yellow, and Ridley has been drawing on the other colors here. I actually think this might help Ridley here. We shall see, but that's going to be the move. I like that move from Lane there with the red 9. Although if there's a +4 in play, I don't think it's going to matter there. Oh no, double yellow 9. Ridley had the crossover covered. Gets the Uno on that one. Does Lane have any options? He's down to 4 cards. Yellow 6. Does Ridley have it? And Ridley does. So I think that yellow switch there was not what Lane needed on that one, because Ridley had yellow the rest of the way. I think for Lane may have known that was a risky switch there. Ultimately did not pay off. Nearly had the ice there on that one, but Ridley had the double yellow 9 to have that crossover covered. So able to get it done on that one there. When these reverse shiny had on green and red and green, and worked out perfectly even again to switch to yellow on the 8. I'm gonna quickly ask Ridley what the top deck was. Otherwise for Lane, he has the game 2 call. Can still pick anything on this one. Green 8, okay. So yeah, I think for Ridley just wanted to be able to kind of have have the door closed on that run there. So getting that green 8 was able to have the door closed on that, and then actually got the switch they needed into yellow. So they were going to need Lane's help on that one. It's going to be game 2. Going to go to 12. So Lane going into a bit of a different territory. Could have done the run way earlier, but just to wait till I had some kind of outlet to yellow. Banked on him doing the switch for me, and it was a good prediction on that one. Hadn't seen yellow in a while, and was able to get it done. So Ridley starts off the series 1-0 here. We'll see if Lane can get one back. The green 9's going to be the start. Second game in a row, we start with green, and lane immediately wants out, goes in the red. And really just going to kind of run the reds here. Oop, there's the thumbs up thing again. Okay, I'm gonna try to see if we can catch that at one point to see who that is, because I've seen that a few times and I'm a bit curious who that actually is. Lane typing, looking for maybe an early run here. An early run, indeed. It's going to be a 5-card run. Throws a +2 on the top of it, so really going to have to go back up to 12. And actually a similar start to what we saw in the first game, where Lane had that run early on to kind of take that big lead and really had to kind of slowly find their way back. We'll see if Ridley can do the same here in game 2. Switch the green. Trying to shake things up for Lane. Lane did not want that green off the start. Lane gonna type. Ooh, and Lane has the run there. Gonna go down to 2. Did have the green. Could this just be a good hand from Lane here? Ridley just gonna play the green 5. Does Lane get the Uno or the finish? Yeah, and that'll do it. That is just a good hand from Lane on that one there, and that's just what he needed to get back into this one. Yeah, and for Ridley, did not kind of had the opposite end of that one there. But yeah, I mean a great hand for Lane there. Ironically, the only thing that could have tripped him up a bit was no switch out of yellow. So ironically, Ridley kind of did the same thing in a way. As Lane did in the opener, except that one was a little bit more dire of a situation. But yeah, for Lane, really good hand on that one there, plan A. But yeah. No, it's Lane's. It's Lane's call. It's Lane's call, so Lane will have 11. Alright, game 3, and it's going to be a yellow skip, so that's the second ammo card we've started on. Alright, we'll see what Lane does here. Had a good hand in the last game. Alright, and we're going to run yellow to start in this one. So no immediate switches on this one, both liking the starting color early. Lane only went 1 down from the initial start on that one, the initial start, so 1 to 11, and just kind of running it down on the numbers here. Yeah, suddenly, just like that, both are down to 7s. 4 plays in a row on yellow, and it being just yellow numbers, and Lane's going to do the first switch of the game into blue. So we'll see how that shapes things up. Ooh, and Ridley's gonna say not so fast. Switches out of it, goes in the red. We'll take the lead with that one. And this is looking like a very much a sprint to the finish for both players here. We'll see if either can actually sprint to the can either cross that can yeah. We'll see if either can cross that finish line. Continuing on red, Ridley continuing to run it down. So is Lane. But when you kind of have like a sprint like this, the person in the lead's usually in the better spot. And Ridley is out on 3 cards, so no more red and cannot get out of it. And so is Lane. Lane is also out, so no plan A win on this one. And both are going to draw. Oh, man. Big top deck there from Ridley. May have actually been the wild that is the top deck on that one. Drew twice and able to get a big draw there. Lane only has the double play on that one to put himself down to 4. Ridley's going to get to at least Uno here. There it is. At Uno. What can Lane do? Just plays green. Does Ridley have it? Yes, Ridley does have it and runs it down on the numbers to take the game 3 win. Yeah, I mean, last game I thought it was a last game they won game 1. I thought it was a top deck, not really. Yeah. Okay. So gets the top deck wild there. I mean, had a run into yellow, but it ultimately led to nowhere, which is why I think they decided to hold off on it. Maybe I actually could have gotten it on one of those draws there, but all right. Well, Ridley with a big top deck there. Lane not able to do much on that one there. And we'll go to game 4 with the home call for Ridley here, and Ridley gonna go with the full send 15. And we get another green skip to start. And gets immediately switched into yellow. So Ridley tried to run green, but Lane says not so fast. Gonna want to go with the yellow there on his first turn. And now both just looking to run yellow, unless Lane decides to employ a light switch strategy. I mean, again, this is still very early in the series here. I think there's still a lot of room for both players to kind of figure things out. It's 2-1 Ridley at the moment, but when this is best of 11, still got a long way to go. Ridley's still got to win 4 more games to secure this series. It's still anyone's game here going into this second homestand as Lane gonna switch it over into blue. Not necessarily light switching, but kind of just feeling out the colors. And that's going to be our first ditto of the series. Lane just again going to run blue. He's been the one who's kind of been controlling the color so far. Hasn't been light switching, but it's just kind of occasionally wanted to shake things up a little bit here. Ridley is taking a second to type, may have the first run of this game. Alright, it's going to be a double play. And that's going to be the opening for Lane to switch into green, and that actually does not work well at all for Ridley there, as Ridley going to have to draw. Now provide some room for Lane to try and bring things back a little. Both were typing there for a second. Lane could have typed longer. Ooh, and a +2 there from Lane. Pays back the +2 he received from before. Does Ridley have any green? Ridley does have a green. Has the green 3. Can Lane keep it going on the green, or does Lane switch? Or does he draw? Lane draws, so now Lane's out on the green. So I don't think we're going to be on this green. I don't think either player are going to want to stay on this green very long here. Otherwise, we're going to have a draw city, but Ridley gets out of the green. So I actually think we're now in a 3-color game here. But no, Lane says not so fast. I want to go to draw city. Ridley is laughing that one off there, and I would expect Lane to maybe have a draw here. There it is. All right, so Lane going to try to go for the defensive move here and force draw city. What does Ridley have here to maybe get out of it? Or maybe just top deck. Ridley gets out of it with another top deck wild. That's their second top deck wild of the series. That one is coming in handy so far. So that kind of blows up Lane's game plan a little bit, but for Lane, I mean, he still has the lead. He's still in a pretty solid spot, all things considered. So maybe he's ultimately okay with how that one plays out, but we'll have to see, as both are just going to continue to run blue, and I would expect both to run blue for a little bit here. And yeah, just going to keep it going on the blue. Lane going to switch it up, though, goes into yellow. Now I think this is really going to be a 3-color game here, because I don't think there's really going to be much for green here unless someone drew that, unless Lane drew a green on his last draw, and now it's a stray. Ooh, and Lane switched it into yellow. Ridley responded. I don't know if that's necessarily what Lane was expecting, because Lane has to draw on that one now. All right, what does Ridley do here? Ridley typing. Oh, and Ridley is going to use their first power play here with 7 cards remaining. So maybe has a good run to the finish here, potentially. We'll see what it is. Going to use the first of 2 power plays, though. Ooh, yeah, and a +6 there. 4-card run there, power play to connect it with probably a 3-card finish. Red reverse blue 9, and that'll do it. So Ridley gets it done there in 5 minutes 21. And used the first power play on that one. Didn't want to risk giving him the 6 or just switching to red and losing the finishing run. +2. Oops. Alright. Alright, fair enough. The ammo output's interesting on this so far because Ridley is leading in 3 categories, wilds, +2s, and reverses. 3 on the wilds, but skips are tied, but +4s are all Lane. Ridley has not played a single +4 so far in this series, so bit of a weird one so far, and it's been a bit of a quicker paced one overall. I was gonna ask Ridley thoughts on power play usage for that one there. I'll see if Lane has any comments on the power play use there. Usually sometimes he'll say like, good move, good for me, yada yada. No? Alright. Fair enough. Alright, so no comments there from Lane. We'll go to game 5 here. We're looking to make it 4-1. Alright, and we start with a yellow 9. Yep, has Ridley just used the power play, so not necessarily. Um, but yellow three from Ridley, yellow zero from Lane, both running yellow to start. It's best of 11. And Ridley used one power play, so technically not the power play lock. Yeah, they would need 2 more wins, but I mean, right now Ridley is looking well on their way to maybe get their 4th win. Could open up this series here in their favor and maybe put a little bit more pressure on Lane. Lane is continuing to draw on this yellow, and Ridley's gonna spare Lane of the yellow draws for now. And not the start that Lane was wanting there on the 14 card start. Only had 1 yellow there, which was the yellow 0, and had to draw twice afterwards. So not looking good for Lane early on here, but could have some good cards on these other colors here, as we have already used 3 of the zeros here. Green 0 is the only one left. Get that switch into red. Ooh, alright. Lane's gonna say not so fast. Let's go back in the blue. I want to see what you got left on that color. And Ridley's gonna have some left over, so we'll be able to keep playing it. There's a thumbs up again. I think that's Ridley that's doing it. But ooh, a lot left. +2 there, so throws Lane back a little bit more. Slowly crawling their way to maybe a finish. Lane gonna try something different, gonna go back into the yellow which we started on. He didn't have any yellow before. And Ridley's not gonna have any left, so I think a good move there from Lane. Maybe has 1 or 2 extra cards here in the yellow, or not. We'll only have that yellow 4. But I think for Lane, that's kind of what he's wanting right now. Going to want to try to stall things out a little bit here. Ridley with the top deck yellow 6. Lane going to keep drawing. I think for Ridley, it's going to be urgent to get out of here. And yeah, Ridley actually gets out of there right away. So Ridley has been finding the top deck so far in this series. And that's got to be a little frustrating for Lane here. As he's not really been able to get much on the top deck side of things so far, at least. 4 to 13 at the moment. Lane gonna do another switch into blue. Gonna try to find that draw. Goes in the blue one and will find it. Really gonna have to draw once again. So Lane saying not so fast, and on this blue, he's gonna be in a bit more of a actually no, he's not, because he's gonna have to draw on this as well. So I was gonna say I thought maybe he could play the blue a little bit more, but ultimately elects not to. May not have any blue anyways. But yeah, this is going to be interesting because if these are true draws, then this is going to be 2-color here, which for Lane, if this draw state doesn't go for a while, that might not be great for him, unless he's got some big ammo cards on the red or the green. All right, Lane's going to switch it into the green now. May have picked up something that he's a little bit more comfortable with getting going again. All right, double play from Ridley goes down to 5. We'll see what Lane responds with. All right, just gonna keep it green. Just gonna keep rolling with the numbers here. Ooh, Ridley with another wild. I think that wild gap continues to grow here. Lane might go for a move here. I don't know if he's liking this yellow. Lane taking a second to type. I think he has something. Taking a while to type here. And I mean, speaking of gaps growing, the +4 gap is gonna keep growing also. Lane with a +4 to respond to Ridley's wild, and Ridley's gonna switch it into the red when Lane played +4 in the green. So that's 4-0 on the wilds for Ridley and 3-0 on the +4s for Lane. No wilds for Lane here, no +4s for Ridley. Lane is going to switch it back into the green here, wants that green, and Ridley does not have any. So gonna have to draw. Lane looking to run the green. Has the green 4. Lane now has the lead also after that +4 there. Keeps going on green. Ridley looking to try to find an escape route and may have found it on the yellow 7. But for Lane, I feel like he might have something. Yes, he does. Crossover into red. Gonna use that to his advantage. Red 2 from Ridley. Lane down the 4 cards here, looking to make it 3-2 maybe. Ooh, and Lane gets his first wild. He goes back in the green. And I think that might be a bad sign for Ridley unless Ridley has something. Ridley has a wild. Um, but will it be enough to stop? Because that wild from Lane maybe just to kind of force that draw, or force no cards coming their way. Could see another +4 coming their way here. Ooh, okay, no. +2, a skip, and a draw. So Lane actually got the Uno, but is 1 card short. Very interesting. So Lane very close, but Ridley looking to try and take advantage, and Ridley gonna make a little bit of a bigger gap from the finish for Lane. Adds 2 more cards to their hand and keeps it yellow. And Lane gets another yellow ammo card and is gonna have to draw again, so trades in that yellow reverse. Really gonna keep on going here on this yellow, trying to get closer and closer. Lane gonna draw again, and now Ridley is out as well. This has been a good game. This has been a good game 5 so far. Been back and forth, longest game of the series so far. That's about 7 minutes 30. Just at 7 minutes 40 actually. And now both gonna be drawing once again in Draw City. 7 to 8 here. Alright, draws keep on rolling. Alright, another draw. Alright, and the draws keep on going here. This is a long draw city. No one really able to find much here. And just to say that Lane gets a top deck yellow 4. Now this is kind of reset the game here. Resets the hands as well, and really gonna use that 4 to get out of yellow. So we are back underway, and for both essentially new hands here, as there was a lot of draws and a lot of cards picked up during that draw city. So it's gonna definitely shake up both players' strategies to try to get to this finish. Ridley taking a minute. Got maybe a bit of a run building up. No, it's just gonna be a red 6. Just wanted to kind of think through what number they wanted to play, maybe. Red 1 from Lane. Now what does Ridley do? It's gonna be the red 9. Both running green. This has been a in the earlier games were decently quick, but this has been a very good game 5 so far. +2 from really the flip the scoreboard. Alright, and now Lane gonna try to switch things up here. Goes in the green. I think they're both really trying to find that draw, crossover into blue from Ridley. And 3-card run here. Lane going to take the lead back. Going to go in the red. Ridley looking to tie things up at 6 apiece here with the play. And it's a crossover back into blue. And a crossover in the yellow. A lot of both players trying to play games with the colors here. And Ridley has ran out on yellow. This is where we had that draw city though. So how long can Lane run this? Able to have a yellow too. Ridley once again going into the blue. And now Lane's gonna have to draw. Third time's the charm for Ridley. Lane gonna have to draw there. Can Ridley roll on this blue now? Yes, they will. Tied at 5. Top deck from Lane. Ridley's been wanting this blue for a while. I would expect at least another play on blue here. And there it is. It's going to be a switch into green, though. And now Ridley's down to 2. Lane has 4 cards remaining. Down to the wire here. Lane plays the green 3. Can Ridley get to Uno on this one or the win? They got it first +4 of the series from Ridley, and that's going to let them take the 4-1 lead in a very good game there on that one. Very competitive on both sides there. And really going to be able to get it done with their first +4. I'm probably going to reword that. All right, we'll see what Ridley has to say on this one, but that's a big win for Ridley because that's going to be 4-1, and they got one more game in their homestand. So, yeah, big win for Ridley on that one there. It's going to force more pressure on the lane as well. Let's land a question here also. For Ridley, was hoping to run out of blue and do pretty much exactly what I did before he switched to yellow. Fortunately, drew another blue, so he was able to do that successfully. Had the +4 for a while, drew during draw city, and then for Lane, I'm gonna ask him. Quick question here, Lane. Good showing that one. Fell 3 cards short. Anything for that one you could have maybe looked at a little differently following that. We'll see if Lane has anything to say on that one, or if he's just looking to go to game 6. But yeah, I mean, for Ridley, that was for both players. They got for their first wild and +4 respectively, and for Ridley, it was a big time to play their first +4 because that's going to help them get the 4-1 lead, which is going to be a big advantage here. Heaps, piles, stacks, mountains of garbage. So I think Lane was not very happy with his hand throughout that one. So I think that's going to be the takeaway from that one. I think he played that the way he needed that. I think he played it the way he felt was best, and got as close as he possibly could in that one there. But Ridley with the game 6 call, just going to keep going one down here on the high tier. Going to go with 13. And yellow plus 2 to start this one off. Alright, we run yellow here to kick things off. Alright, really going to go for the first switch in this one here after running yellow for a little bit. Going to go in the red. I mean, for really, if they can get this one, that's going to be big. And it's going to make it very difficult for Lane to try to make this comeback. He does still have 2 power plays, though, so that does help. But I think for Lane, it's going to be important to try to get this win to break up the momentum, because really has 3 straight wins. Does not want to make it 4 in a row. Alright. Red skip, red 3. Really going to play the red 6. That double is going to give Lane the possession arrow lead, so has that in his back pocket for now. But both, other than that, are just going to keep running numbers. It's kind of how a lot of these high tier start games go more often than not. Alright, and Lane going to switch it into blue. Ditto play on that one. Really liking the switch. The Lane card. I've been saying this before in these streams, even though we don't have the custom cards at the moment, a lot of these players still remember what their card is. So you still got that X factor in there a little bit, even if it's not aesthetically there. Double play on that one there. And another ditto, 2 dittos in a row. And that ditto is going to help Lane switch the color here. 4 to 6 on this one. Both are running plan A so far. Really with the green 1, can Lane get down to 3? Yes, he will. What does Ridley have here? Does Ridley try to go for a move to take the lead? Maybe snatch the win from Lane. Ridley taking a second to type, maybe thinking this one through. Could be a few options in their hand of what to do. This has been plan A so far. No one has self-drawn. No one's even drawn anything because there hasn't been any +2s played either. So the deck is still very fresh. And Ridley is going to go for, oh my god, it is a double +4. That I was not expecting. Wow. Can't say I was expecting that one. I thought it was just kind of going to be a race to the finish, but in the end, it's going to be a massive link up there. And I mean, there's not much to say on that one. Yeah, that's going to tie up the +4s there. And I think with that, that's going to kind of definitively give Ridley the ammo advantage here. And that's again, that's going to be a frustrating one for Lane on that one. And yeah, who did he sold to? Yeah, and I think some of Lane's frustration starting to seep in. Just not getting the right timing on some of these cards here. I am curious. That's gonna hurt more for Lane if he like had the finish right there, and then just kind of had it snatched away. Because that was a plan A game from both of them. Only run I had was a wild and 2 reds. Okay, so we had the path to the finish, but still need a little bit more to get there. But yeah, I mean that's gonna suck. That's gonna really suck for Lane there. Who's gonna go for 8 cards in Game 7 to try to make this comeback. But yeah, this has been a rough one for Lane here. Just has not been getting the fortune he needs. And he's gonna be hoping he can have a turn for the best here in game number 7. Yellow 1 from Lane. And the yellow 8 from Ridley. Ooh, crossover from Lane, or from Ridley. Gonna deny Lane the green. And Lane gonna have to draw. And I mean, I think the thing that's gonna definitely hurt Lane here is because, like, I think he's a bit mentally out of it. Like, those kind of plays are definitely gonna irritate you more and more. And it's like, you might go for a brash move later on that might not be what you want. But Lane with a top deck yellow 9, I think is going to save him for now. And I think that really did save him. Going to switch to blue, maybe be back on track for what he was originally looking for. But yep. Sorry. Both are tied here at 5 cards. Lane has the possession arrow lean. Lane also has 2 power plays. I'm curious if one of them comes out earlier here, or if he's just going to kind of try to hold on to them as long as he can. Both are just slowly creeping their way towards the finish here. And for Ridley, when it's match point, that's definitely going to put some more pressure on the lane to try and make sure he can do what he can to stop it. All right, and yeah, I mean, there it is. Like, Lane is just kind of try to make sure Ridley does not have that finish. And it's going to +4 there with the red. And that's going to be ultimately a defensive move. Ridley going to keep going on red, though. Lane trying to find something off the top deck. Has not been very fortunate tonight there, though. So we'll see if maybe he could find something late. But Ridley gets the switch in the green. Does their damage on red. Double play on green from Lane, though. Once it loads. There it is. So Lane down to 2. Could we see a power play here from Lane? No, we see a power play from Ridley. We did see them have a bit of a goof up before, but is this going to be one where it just has the lineup to the finish? Ooh, that's looking like a finish there. Green reverse, yellow skip. And Ridley may be on their way to the final boss finale, and that is it. Wow, Ridley gets it done. 5 games in a row there. I mean, the last 2 games just kind of had it lined up the way they needed it to, and gets it done. Unfortunate to see that the way they went, but I think Game 5 was a great, well played game from both. But I think after that one, with Ridley kind of keeping the momentum riding, it was kind of tough for Lane to bring that one back, especially where tonight he was really just not getting anything on those draws there. So yeah, very a rough evening for Lane here, but it's still a run to be proud of nonetheless, making it to the Final Four for the first time since 2024. We'll ask Ridley some questions. We'll ask Lane a little bit, and then we'll wrap this one up here as Ridley makes it to the final boss finale. And second season in a row that the number 15 seed is in the finale for tournament 2. Gone did it last season in this tournament in automotive April, and really gonna do it now in arcade April. I'm definitely gonna be frustrated on that one. All right, really feels good, man. Want to play you? Power plays are actually helping this series, unlike some other matchups I had in this tournament. Feels good to be in the finale. I'll be playing it on a cruise. All right, so some overseas Uno gameplay from Ridley for that finale next week. We will figure out when that time is. I think myself, Nick, maybe Monday. But that's a little that's unofficial at the moment. But yeah, it's I mean, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to say on that one. Uh, Usually this is kind of what I say with most of these games for how it plays out, but like I think really just kind of executed on the cards they were given. I mean the plus two. I can't even say the plus fours were the big factor there because two of those were in game six and the other one was game five. So I mean, didn't even really run the plus fours that much. Really, it was the wilds and the plus twos there that were the big factor for really on that one. That big difference there, helping them get across the line and getting the win. But yeah, unfortunate way for that one to go. 6-1 final there. Um, yeah, a big win for Ridley though. For Lane, definitely going to be a rough loss, but I think for Lane overall, it's just kind of a good run in general. Because again, this is coming off a 2025 season where came just a bit short of Super League. It didn't make a Final Four in that one there. That was definitely one of the big factors that kind of hurt him a little bit last season. But to kind of make it back here, trying to make it back to Super League for the second time in his career, and I mean making a return to make the Final Four. Um, that's gonna be a good momentum for the rest of the season for Lane for sure. I think he could definitely utilize that moving forward. He's got his comments here. I mean, it's always nice to make the Final Four again, but it's irritating that even the bot one does to lose. We'll bounce back like we always do. All right, we'll see Lane in the third place game against whoever loses, Nick and myself. Should be a little, hopefully a fun, interesting matchup. That's what the tournament one was actually a very fun third place game there. So hopefully we get another one of those. But yeah, that's gonna be final here. Um, as Ridley gonna get the win and moves on to the finale here. Gonna jump to 5-1, 25-12, the overall record, and then for Lane, it's gonna be 23-20. But I mean, still a great tournament for him nonetheless. Again, looking back at the bracket here, really going to move on to the Arcade April finale, looking to make it two in a row for the rookies this season. And again, a 15 seed in the finale. And look at the other side of the bracket. I really wish this was someone else commentating this to point this out, but there are very eerily similar signs from last season here because when one half of the finale is a rookie on the 15 line, there are some flashbacks here. And then when my opponent is also well, actually no, Monkey was not allowed in last year, so never mind. But I mean the 6-1 also in the finale. I beat Monkey 6-1 in the Final Four last season. However, that might not really carry over here because Nick's definitely going to be a very tough challenger. So Nick gonna look to deny the repeat here, but if I do make the finale, it's a very very familiar setting there, just with a different challenger on that one. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Again, that stream should be on Monday, I think. It'll be next week. It's unofficially Monday right now. Gotta figure out the whole logistics of that because like because it's like I can't stream my own game unless we really got no one, and then at that point I might have to figure out some kind of like some kind of contraption to make it work without exposing my hand mid game. I hope it does not come down to that, but with how this tournament has been, I would not be surprised if we have to figure something out like that. But we'll see. I'm going to play Nick in the other Final Four matchup to play with the winner playing Ridley in Final Boss finale. We will see who gets it done there. And for Lane, we'll be waiting that third place game to try to get a second accolade of his career. That's gonna do it. Thank you all for watching this stream. Again, gonna have a bit of a break here, unfortunately, as gonna have to have the bot be offline for the weekend. Unfortunately, that's gonna have a big impact with Medieval Mayhem, which has been, to quote one of the players, mayhem for the wrong reasons, which has been its own story. I have my own feelings on that. It's been kind of frustrating, but we have to deal with it as we go along. And move as we go along, but hopefully after this weekend, this month and a half bot saga should hopefully finally come to a close, and we can move forward from here into greener and brighter pastures, because again, it's been a very turbulent last few weeks here, and just trying to trudge through here. Again, no matter what we kind of get thrown here, we're going to do what we can to keep things moving. And I think in terms of trying to catch up as we try to recover from the average delay from before, keep things moving for the season and get things rolling to where it needs to be. But again, I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank Scars for being a rep for this one. I want to thank our players. And on behalf of MRE UNO, thank you all so much for watching this stream. Congrats to Ridley on making it to the final boss finale. We will see who Ridley will fight against in that finale for a chance to be locked in the Super League. So here only 3 matches left. Well, only 2 matches left in Arcade April plus the third place game. Coming down to the wire. We're gonna bring you the conclusion of this tournament next week. But until then, I'm G-Man. Peace out, everyone. And have a great night.
This has been a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 1.